So I tell him about Uncle Palazzo. In fact, I want to come and maybe learn more about the musical part. First of all, I used to think producers are big people, are mature guys. When I see these young boys come to studio and they work with Uncle Palazzo and then at the end of the day, so I was like, sometimes I can also do this. I mean, this boy is my age. So I talked to Uncle Palazzo and then he's like, CJ away, at first I had this thought of, my uncles are great, it will be an easy way for me, but then I came to realize it's actually really tough. It all depends on your skill. So I feel like my challenge so far is standing out as me, Mayanja, without being labeled as Chameleon's nephew, Palazzo's nephew. Some people in the industry go for drugs because, like I said, the industry is not really easy. You can do your work for years and years and you're still not standing out. So obviously you could get into things like depression, anxiety. So you resort to drugs as a way of calming yourself down. Even when you tell your brother, one of the things even when Chameleon was beginning, his friends would be like, who's a facing what. But with time, they got to see that nothing much changes. That's just a job.
Imagine someone striving for 8-10 years to be there, and they are only investing in earning.
So you think it goes back to connection. Because even our biggest stars today, they have sung for 10 years and now we're just waiting for their sweet. Chameleon, I think, sang, I don't know, for over 5 years, and it was just one day, Uncle P. So it's just a matter of time.
I would love to know who really inspired you.
From the family. Yeah, from the family.
Because they are all good, but who really inspired you and why? But actually there is no producer in the family. Why did you go for production? What do you hope to sing in the future?
There are two questions. Who inspired me and why production?
What do you also hope to sing in the future?
Wow, who inspired me? We'll be back to the Bridge Talk Show, where stories meet. To those that are watching us for the very first time, I'm called Victor.
And I am Derek Tumwebaze. And today with us, we have a very special guest with us from the entertainment industry. Maybe he can introduce himself.
Greetings to everyone watching the Bridge Talk Show. My name is Lule Henry Mayanja. I prefer to be known as Mayanja. I'm a producer, music producer in particular. Yeah.
So Lule Henry Mayanja, as you've introduced yourself, and you've brought it all that you prefer being called Mayanja. Why Mayanja? Do you come from this sounding family of the Mayanjas that is so sounding in the entertainment sector?
A family that has perhaps written history when it comes to the music industry.
Well, so there are two questions. Why Mayanja and am I from the sounding Mayanja family? So let me start with the second question. Yes, I am from the sounding Mayanja family. My father, the late Humphrey Mayanja, is the first boy child in that family. Basically, he's the big brother to the Jose Chameleon, Palazzo, Wizo, the late AK-47, Josephine Mayanja, and David and Henry Kasozi. So I prefer to be called Mayanja because I chose to become a music producer last year. So I've actually spent 1 year in music production. And I chose Mayanja as my stage name. It's what I want to be known as the field of music production.
Oh, it's so nice to hear that you're from the sounding Mayanja family, and perhaps you could be having all the connections you need to make it in the entertainment sector. So Mayanja, would love to know, because you've said you joined the entertainment sector about a year back, basically production last year. Yeah, last year. So we would love to know, because we expected you could have come with this passion from childhood, and it seems not to be the case. Why did you choose to join the entertainment sector, and particularly music production? Is it that the whole family is subjected to joining the entertainment sector? Is it in the genes of the family, or there is something that we need to know?
Well, I would say it's in their genes, but then, first of all, I've grown up in a musical family. I mean, you're always watching your uncles on TV, they're performing. So there's that inspiration and you're like, wow, my uncles are actually great people in this country. And then you hang around them in studio, they're doing their creations and, everything. So last year, I think I was in my final year of Form 6, in last year but 1. So I talked to Uncle Palazzo on phone because he was supposed to send me a success card. So I tell him about Uncle Palazzo. in VAC, I want to come and maybe learn more about the musical part. And then he tells me, yeah, you can come and learn production. The studio is around. You can learn whatever you want to learn. So I'm like, okay. So VAC reaches, and then I spend 1 week at his studio, and I would see these young producers coming in. Because first of all, I used to think producers are big people, are mature guys. When I see these young boys come to the studio and they work with Uncle Palazzo, and then at the end of the day, he gives them like 200,000 for that day. So I was like, sometimes I can also do this. I mean, this boy is my age. So if I can also put in the work, I can also learn this.
Basically, you have all the resources.
Yes. So I talked to Uncle Palazzo, and then he's like, CJ, you're waiting. Wait. Actually, he said it in these words. I was like, CJ, you're waiting. Wait, Akuride. So from that day, I began staying in Uncle Palazzo's studio. I would have sleepless nights, YouTube. It was really a lot, like teaching myself and everything, but it really came off easy. And people would say maybe it's because of the genes. So I would partly believe in this, the genes, because it really came so easy for me. And not to blow my trumpet, but I feel like for a starting producer, I feel like my journey is really nice. Like, based on what I've learned, like everything has been coming so easy for me, and I believe greater is to come. So I chose this path. I think passion. I don't know. I think it's Bulinga Museum. It's like a ghost, I guess. It's the family.
Well, Mayanja, for the 1 year you've spent in the industry, what is the experience you've earned, or how is it there in the industry?
Well, honestly, it's really, really, really tough. Because at first I had this thought of, oh, my uncles are great. It will be an easy way for me. But then I came to realize it's actually really tough. It all depends on your skill. Because I look at Uncle Palazzo, when he was growing up as a young boy, his brother Chameleon was already out there. He was famous. So Uncle Palazzo was known as Chameleon's brother, But then with hard work and, consistency, right now Uncle Palazzo can stand as Palazzo. Like, people will be like, oh, Palazzo's there. They won't be like Chameleon's brothers. They'll be like, Palazzo's there. So I feel like my challenge so far is standing out as me, Mayanja, without being labeled as Chameleon's nephew or Palazzo's nephew. So far that's my challenge, like getting out there. Because personally, I've seen that it's not easy out there in the musical industry.
And again, to reflect on the music industry, it seems a very dangerous industry to the youth out there. You see, we see a lot of things transpiring. We hear a lot of things. Basically, we look at the drugs specifically. We look at homosexuality, and we see that the youth that are joining the industry or that are in the industry, they are very subject to this. How do you hope to overcome this sort of to make sure that you don't be subject to this?
First of all, I think some people in the industry go for drugs because, like I said, the industry is not really easy. You can do your work for years and years and you're still not standing out. So obviously you could get into things like depression, anxiety. So you resort to drugs as a way of calming yourself down. Then other people...
Do you think it is right to opt for drugs as a way of calming down?
Of course it's not, and I don't believe in... Actually, I don't even use any drugs. I don't believe in drug use.
Don't you have that fear that you would be subject to such someday? If at all you don't stand out and maybe you have the pressure, the depression, and the anxiety, don't you think you will be subject to the drugs sometime? And if no, how do you hope to handle it? Explain to the youth out there.
So, first of all, I've seen... Okay, let me talk about my family, because at least my family members do their music. So, of course, I always get that pressure of, will I stand out? Will I make it? But then I look at my uncles, and they took years and years to get where they are. They didn't just fall from the sky and they became famous, So whenever I feel like maybe I'm giving up or I'm feeling like I won't make it one day, I'm like, but Uncle Pete took this amount of years. So how am I different from him? So that gives me the hope of, I know I'll make it. So I don't need the drugs. I don't need I don't know. I think that drugs, I don't need the drugs to calm myself down. I don't need to be on pressure. Yes, the pressure is there because I'm human. But then I look at my uncles and I'm like, if they did, then I can. And not just my uncles, but the other people who do what I do, other famous producers around the world, they didn't just fall from the sky. So I believe I'll also get there. It's just a matter of time. Actually, my uncle Jose Camino told me we are different because of time. Where I am because of time. So it's not because I'm better than you, but it's just the time. So I believe it's just time. So it's just time. I believe it's just time. My time hasn't come. When that time comes, God will not say no.
Let's talk about the homosexuality. and other bad behaviors. Of course, I brought up that because it is the most sounding. Homosexuality, drunkardness, they are also in line with the drugs. How do you hope to cope up with this? Because almost all the musicians, all people in the entertainment industry, they are subject to this. How do you hope to escape this?
So I think the homosexuality part, some people do it because they want to get their money. Because music isn't easy if at all you're not investing. It's really expensive. It's an expensive job. So I think people opted for homosexuality to get funding. But then what I've learned so far is that music is something you will not earn money from there and then. So probably maybe a small job would come in handy. It may not give you the amount of money you need to buy something, but go with what goes, go with what flows. If you want to buy an equipment and it's too costly and you have a certain amount of money, then buy what you can afford, and step by step, you'll get there. So far I've learned that. Personally, I've put it in my head that I want to earn money there and then from music. So I've come to terms with it that you want to earn there and then. So probably something else would come in hand, maybe a small job or something. And probably staying consistent with your art and just be consistent. Have a small job, stay consistent, and don't let that passion ever die.
The fact that you've been in the industry and you've grown up from a very outstanding family that has perhaps made it in the history when it comes to the music sector or the music industry, to be more specific. Well, the public has often misinterpreted the musicians, the music industry, as people who are off track. They see them as drunkards. They see them as tycoons. They see musicians as is this true, or it is something different?
Well, I would say it's something different, but then personally, I believe we all as individuals, we have those bad habits we do. We may not know them, but you know them deep down. You have that bad habit.
Even if it's not the musicians, it's just that maybe they're in the limelight.
Exactly, that's what I was driving to actually. Like, we all have those bad habits we do. So musicians are just that they're in the limelight, so people look at them maybe as role models or something, but they're also humans at the end of the day. I mean, people fight every day. People beat each other in rooms when, where we're absent. But it's because they're not a limelight, so we want to know. So I believe we are just all humans and we have those bad habits we do sometimes. And it's okay because, we are humans. So
it feels like
how do you withstand with, allow me to call it pressure? Because the fact that you have agreed that if maybe I comforted, or if I had an interaction with a musician, it wouldn't sound so, I don't know, in the same way I would interact maybe with any other person achieving or doing a different career. In circumstances where you go searching for jobs, do these people take you serious, or they're like that
is so true. Like, even when you tell your parent I want to do music, even when Chameleon was beginning, his parents would be like, Joseph, what. But with time, they got to see that nothing much changes. That's just a job, So that's true. People don't take people in the music industry serious. But then, like I said, we're just all humans. And
if so, I want you to affirm to our dear listeners that are watching that the people who are pursuing or who are in the music industry are not necessarily bad people. Good people also exist. So I want you to clear the air out there, and people know that musicians are also like other people.
Our dear viewers out there, I really want to affirm that people who are doing music, they are all people like us, and they are good people out there. It's just that sometimes we go wrong because it's a human nature to do mistakes here and there, but we ain't angels. We all go wrong sometimes, and it's totally fine. So, all I can say is we're all humans and we go wrong sometimes. So,
let's talk about, again, dealing with the pressure. We are seeing a lot of people in the entertainment industry, particularly those that are beginners, coping up with the pressure is difficult for them, and to find them being subject to mental health disorders, a lot of depression and anxiety, and actually it drives us back to the drugs and what. This is as a result of mental health disorders that they face due to maybe the pressure and maybe the match competition. We hear of witchcraft in the industry. Uh, aren't you scared of such on your side? How do you think you'll cope up? Aren't you scared of losing your mental health someday because of the pressure?
Of course, I am scared, but then I believe that's how life is. I mean, if it was something easy, then everyone would be doing it, but not everyone does it because it's not easy. So you just have to take a step and be like, I want to do this. Because, I mean, it's life at the end of the day. That's life. Life is full of ups and downs. The only person without ups and downs is someone who's dead. But if you're alive, expect ups and downs. So personally, like I said, I came to terms with it that it's not easy. So I should just believe that one day I'll make it, just a matter of time. But then for the mental health, personally, with the help of my uncles, of course, I talk to them here and there, and then they encourage me. I look at how far they've come, all that adds on to the inspiration. I'm like, one day I'll make it. So of course, like I get down also, and I'm like, will I really make it? I really feel sad sometimes. You post your craft and then you only get like 20 views. I'm like, And I'm like, everyone has a story. Not everyone just came from the sky and fell and they became whatever they are. So personally, I know I'm gonna manage that by coming to terms with it's just a matter of time. And I believe every crafts person out there should also just believe that it's just a matter of time. Yes, you get down sometimes, but then pick yourself up and believe it's a matter of time. Just come to terms with yourself. So I feel like it's all about you.
Well, I do believe that every industry has leaders. Do you think the leaders they are in the music industry are supportive to the young talent, to the young generation that is coming? Do you think they have done their role
Actually,
when it comes to supporting you people?
Uganda Musicians Federation, we are seeing it doing, should I call it a lot of nothing in supporting the youth? All there is something they're doing.
I think he's the right person to address such a question. Yeah.
Well, the vice president happens to be my uncle, Palazzo. So one day I asked him about it actually, and then he tells me we're actually fighting for the young people because right now the copyright law in Uganda is still shaky. But he told me that so that you young people can also, earn from your craft. So whatever they're fighting for may not even help them, but it's actually going to help us. So following my uncle's words, he says they are fighting for us. But then he said, you can't fix something that has been shaky for years. You can't fix it in just months. So probably it's going to take some time because, it has been off for so many years. So I believe the Federation is actually doing work for us and they are fighting for us. It's just that this thing has been off for so many years. So of course it's going to take time to put it up there.
Well, when it comes to the young talent striving in the music industry, we often hear stories such as the promoter maybe didn't maybe issue out my music, maybe this and this happened, I paid my money, and maybe why does that happen if at all you have the right people?
Well, what I came to learn also in the industry is that talent only contributes 10%. So the remaining 90% falls back to you. How do you market yourself? How do you put yourself out there? Like I said, the industry is not really easy. So just because you're good at what you do, it's not a guarantee that you will make it out there. So you have to get to things like paying DJs to play your craft, doing TikTok videos or whatsoever. So all those things I've talked about, promoters not okay. That's that's life. That's part of. So I don't really have an
uncertainty is always happening.
Exactly. That is a daily song in the music.
Yeah, that's how it is.
And there is nothing that can be done. Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly. If you learn on the right person, they'll help you out. If someone has the limitations, they may not help you out. So just pray you surround yourself with the right people to help you out.
Does the upbringing of the young generation in the industry necessarily does it have to rely on the connection one has in the industry? Because we have seen the young talent trying to strive, putting in the little they have, but then they take abnormal years to make it to on the markets.
Imagine someone striving for 8-10 years to be there, so and they're only investing, not earning from it.
Do you think it goes back to connections? Okay, like I said, it's just a matter of time. If it's your time, no one will stop you. So I believe you just have to do what you do. Of course, there are ups and downs. It's not easy. And I believe also in other industries like maybe businesses or whatever, that's the same story. Doesn't mean your business will just blow up one day. So yeah, someone will sing for 8 years, but that's it. Because even our biggest stars today, they have sung for 10 years and they're now just ripping from their sweat. Chameleon, I think, sang, I don't know, for over 5 years, and it was just one day, Uncle P. So it's just a matter of time. So that's because you're a young person in the industry. It's not a granted that I don't know, like, you're not any different from someone who has sung for 10 years and now whipping out of your sweat.
I think Mayanja just has a positive attitude, and he believes more in luck.
Luck.
Yeah, luck. He takes luck as the main thing when it comes to the
matter of time.
music industry.
He believes in time.
He believes that when the time
Doing what you should do.
You just do what you're supposed to do.
Do the right thing and and maybe leave the rest to God. So Mayanja, tell us of the few projects you've so far handled, and if there are any successes so far, or where you see the loopholes that you need to fix personally.
And before he tells us about that, I would love to ask him this interesting question. Well, you've had or you've grown up in a very good family, and Uncle Palazzo being your uncle, Jose Chameleon, aka to mention but a few. I would love to know who really inspired you
From the family.
Yeah, from the family. Because they're all good, but who really inspired you and why?
But actually, there is no producer in the family. Why did you go for production? What do you hope to sing in the future?
There are two questions: who inspired me and why production?
What do you also hope to sing in the future?
Wow, who inspired me?
I'll take time and really tell us, because I'm sure our dear listeners would love to know, because all those are legends. But who really inspired you?
Well, first of all, yes, I would say they all did. But then
it's difficult to choose one.
For Palazzo, Uncle Palazzo, at least Palazzo, I've got time to watch him grow. Because by the time Chameleon became a star, I was a young boy, so I didn't really witness his struggle a lot. The same thing goes to Weasel and AK. Like, I didn't witness their struggles a lot because I was a young boy, so I didn't. But then Palazzo blew up at that time when I was now mature enough and I was watching him. I saw him go through ups and downs. So I would say Palazzo really did. His story really touched me a lot because at least I've watched him. So I won't say Chameleon did inspire me, but it's just because I didn't get time to watch his story. Yes, I read about it and it inspires me, but then at least I've seen Palazzo's story. I've been there, I've looked at him. So I would say Palazzo really did. Because I've watched him grow from the time he came back to Uganda. So I would say it's Palazzo.
Why production?
Why production?
What do you hope to sing in the future?
Well, I don't know about the singing part, but personally, I got drawn more to production because personally, I believe I don't know how to sing. Jokes aside, I believe I don't know how to sing because I really.
But you're always in studio.
Maybe I'll perfect the skill one day because it's not a one-day thing.
You do try some singing.
Because even the late AK-47 didn't start as a musician. He actually became a producer first. Yeah, he was a producer. But then I think with time he said, money. I think he figured production isn't this thing and switched to music. And then his first track was the Bayuda remix. Bayuda Tweetana with Chameleon. So let me also see what the future holds in for me. But for now, I'm comfortable with production.
Let's talk about your projects. What projects have you done? Which artists have you worked with, and who do you work? And actually, if you are given a chance to work with one artist out there, who would it be? Or you could have already worked with them.
Well, right now, so far the projects I've done, I released an EP last year. It was my very first project.
What's the name of the EP?
It's called the Saga EP. Saga. My late dad used to call himself Saga back in the day when he was doing also his music thing. So I was like, let me name my EP Saga since it's my very first project and maybe in honor of my late dad. Then I've worked with Palazzo, Weasel. I haven't yet worked with Chameleon, but at least he has been giving me the support. So hopefully when he recovers and it's back to Uganda, I hope to work with him also. Then, though I don't look at working with my uncles alone, I don't put it at the forefront. Right now, my goal is to work with a few of my friends. So I've worked with people like Lakon Daga, Light on Lyrics, Austin Ozzy, Calvin Writer. We actually formed a group. It's called Blaze Music. So it's our small group and we look we hope one day we shall maybe have a label. So my biggest goal. You asked me the question that what artists do I look forward to working with.
Which artist do you hope to work with if you got the chance to right now?
Right now, I don't have an artist in mind because my biggest goal right now is to develop an artist, how to get an artist from scratch and we grow up together. So
Wow, that is impressive. To
So
see
that's
that you
why I
want
work
to lift
more
your fellow youth.
yeah, so I work more with the people who don't check out there because my goal is to come up together with an artist. I feel like it makes sense more that way. So that's why I don't put work with my uncles at the forefront.
Oh, well, that's a very good insight. To those who really want to know who Mayanja is, how do they find you?
Well, my Instagram, I use Mayanja, TikTok, Mayanja. I can also leave my WhatsApp number here, 0700870398. Yeah, I'm open to what if it's music related, I'm actually open, regardless who it is. If you're consistent and you're willing to put in the work, it's okay. So TikTok, Instagram, and WhatsApp, those are my main platforms so far. Mayanja everywhere.
Well, this has been Mayanja, a young and a very passionate artist. And as per the discussion we have had, I'm sure everyone, all to the youth that are trying to evolve or indulge themselves in the industry, you know the steps to take. This has been the Bridge Talk Show. Don't forget to follow, like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channels.